Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Monday, up and out of sunshine. So, what are we talking about today? Today is October 13th, and I thought we'd do a continuation of yesterday. Because yesterday, sometimes doing nothing is doing something, right? And sometimes doing nothing is the best move, even though we don't think it's going to be. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to this channel. My name is Eric. If you didn't already know it, yes, this is a weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Monday, the 13th of October of 2025. So yesterday we were talking about sometimes doing nothing is the right move. And that, whether it's the shop, whether it's your personal life, sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. And when it comes to a repair, sometimes doing nothing and not jumping in will actually save you time and money, right? And your customer, of course. Or dealing with a customer a certain way. Maybe not responding back to something they said snarky because it's the right thing to do, even though it's one of the hardest things to do. I mean, we're only human, right? Somebody says something snarky to us, good chances are we're going to want to say something back. Well, what happens if we don't say anything back? Good question. Because most of us don't know because we're too busy being snarky back. What normally takes place is, I learned a long, long time ago, the quickest way to stop an argument is to tell the other person you're right. And if they're still arguing that they're right, then what are you really arguing about? What I found in life, a lot of times disagreements and misunderstandings that go hand in hand, whether it's in your personal life, in the shop, wherever, is usually not what's really going on. There's an underlying theme of something bothering the other person. And it may have nothing to do with you. And if it has nothing to do with you and you don't respond back, if you do nothing, it usually stops it. Sometimes just doing nothing is the best plan of attack. Or let's say that machine comes in and you listen to it and you decide, okay, it's toast. Because you think you can hear a knock in the engine. Okay? Sometimes doing nothing is doing something. It means it takes you back and takes a step back to where you're more focused on what's really going on. I don't know how many times I've jumped in head first, right? And what do they say about jumping in head first? If you don't know how deep the pool is, it could be a hard landing. So if you don't know the depth of the pool, why are you diving into it? Same thing with a repair. If you don't know what the depth of the repair is, don't just dive in. There's checks and balances that you can do on that engine to decide whether it's worth repairing. And if you watch this channel very much, we do compression, fire, air, and fuel. Those four things. And depending on those four things will help us decide what direction we want to go with on that particular engine, right? If there's an issue. Same thing with the customer. Sometimes a customer just wants to know how much the bill is. They don't want a full-on life accounting of your family history for the past 20 years. So you need to learn when small talk is good and when it's not. I've had customers that just come in and hand them the bill. They write check out and say thank you very much. And that's the only words they say, and that's the only words you need to say. Because if you start talking it's going to change the dynamics. Sometimes in life, you have to take a step back, and just for clarity reasons. If you're having problems in your personal life where you're struggling with stuff, sometimes just doing nothing, take a step back and evaluate what's really going on. Take out all the emotions and then see if you can't find what is the driving factor of what's going on in reality so that you can at least address it, right? But I found this out in my own dynamics this weekend. It was kind of, when you have so many parties involved, and family is tough to start with, but when you have so many parties involved, it starts to take on its own set of problems. And the more people that are involved, the more communications are having the ability to break down. And for me anyways, I had planned for 2 weeks that my grandson was coming in to hunt. And logistics of how he was going to get here, how he's going to get home, and what having the fridge and this and that. And when it came the final day when he was supposed to show up, there was a miscommunication of my daughter saying that she thought that I had told her I wouldn't be available until Sunday morning, which wasn't the case. I had the whole weekend cleared for my grandson. So instead of coming to my place Friday night, it went to his grandmother's instead. And the morning hunt that we had planned together, he sat with his grandmother. And that really bothered me a lot because I put in a lot of effort. And then the words that she said was, you need to stand on your 2 feet more. This isn't on me, this is on you. And that really bothered me because one of the things that I've tried the hardest since last November is trying to take back everything that others were doing for me. And I'm like you guys. You hate to ask anybody for anything, right? So when somebody's doing something for you, you're very appreciative. At least I am. But when I'm being told that I need to step up more and own what's going on with me, I took it that I needed to pull everything back and that I wasn't trying hard enough. And on this side of the fence, I'm feeling like, I can't do much more. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. And basically the only thing left that I have somebody else doing is my meds. And that's because, I'm very fearful of screwing up my meds and it could kill me. But other than that, I'm going to the shop, putting in my time. I'm doing the YouTube videos. I'm doing the Facebook thing. I'm doing, everything that I can. I don't have anybody doing any of that for me. So it hurt me really bad, to be honest with you. But I had 2 choices. I could either be snarky back and pull everything back, including my meds, or I could decide to just let things ride, do nothing. I had already sent a message to my daughter-in-law saying I was pulling the meds back. Not because of anything she had done, but it was this, I gotta stand on my own 2 feet. I need to do more for myself. And that's the only thing I thought was really left out there. I understand that my kids worry a lot, and same thing for my extended family with my sister-in-law and nieces and to be honest with you, I do a lot more to try to show them I'm doing okay, that not to worry. But my daughter-in-law took it the wrong way because my son talked to me yesterday, day before yesterday, and he said, like, what's going on? Because she thought maybe she had done something wrong. By me acting just on one thing, it made somebody else feel awkward and upset because they enjoy doing it. She enjoys doing it for me, and she knows that I greatly appreciate it. And she's the type of person that would help anybody as long as you were appreciative of the fact that she was willing to do it. And it finally come out in the wash yesterday, and that is I did nothing on everything else. Everything else went fine. My grandson got a nice spike yesterday morning, or last night rather, and my daughter came in. I didn't say anything. She said that, well, you're not as off the table as you were last weekend. I'm like, well, she said, you're different. No, she knew she overstepped her bounds, but she still didn't want to own it. And I just in my mind said, that's okay. Let it go. That's what I'm getting at when I say sometimes doing nothing is the right thing to do. You have to look at, do you want to die on that hill, or do you want to just let it go and move forward? And if there's anything I've learned in this past year is you need to move forward. You need, whatever is going on, you need to continue to move forward. You can't stop. And my son says, don't you ever stop? And I'm afraid, Rob, if I stop, I'll never get going again. And that's my feeling is, I'm cutting firewood, I'm splitting firewood, I'm hauling it to the shop, and dumping it, and stacking it. And I'm not asking anybody for anything because I'm very proud. Sometimes pride gets in your way, But like yesterday, Claude showed up, and this is a Sunday, and he showed up and said, what's on the itinerary for today? And I said, well, I'm going to see if I can't get some more trees skidded out that I have laying on the ground, and see if I can't get some more wood cut. And he said, since you have two able-bodied young men, today might be the better day to go down to the shop and handle the 4 loads that are down there, get it split up, stacked, and everything, versus trying to haul more down there. He said, we can do this up here, but if we can get that cleaned up. So I told him, I said, you're in charge. I'm just a peon. You call the orders and let's go. He said, well, let's head to the shop. So we spent about 3.5 hours, 4 hours between Claude and myself, my son and my grandson. We split and piled the 4 loads that were already down there. And everybody did a super job, and we got a lot done. And nothing more was said about any of it. Not even to today. Because why? Because I chose not to continue it on. In order for arguments and disagreements and anything else to happen, it takes 2, right? Not unless you're going to paint, a face on your thumb and your forefinger and make it a puppet and talk to yourself, have internal struggles. That's called insanity. I'm not willing to border on insanity. So give that some thought today. Have you ever done nothing and then have it turn out well? And you'll know those times because you'll look at them and say, no matter what I do, it's not going to be right. And those are the times where do nothing. So on that note, you guys have a great Monday, and we'll catch you bright and early here tomorrow morning for another episode of The Weekday. Enjoy your Monday.